Yeah, this album is dedicated to all the teachers that told me I never amount to nothing. To all the people that lived above the buildings that I was hustling from that called the police on me when I was just trying to make some money to feed my daughter.
Yeah.
And to all my peoples in the struggle, you know what I'm saying? It's all good, baby.
Check.
It was all a dream. I used to read Word Up magazine. Salt and Pepper and Heavy D up in the limousine. Hanging pictures on my wall. Every Saturday, rap attack Mr.
Hey there, welcome to the locker room. Coach Arias here. Today's message, imbalance now for imbalance later. So often I hear about people talking about balance. They want to talk about what they want to do everything. They want to have balance in their life. Listen, it could just be me, but what I have found is there is no such thing if you want to be great. You can balance if everything is average, if everything is going to be average. But if you want to be great, you're going to sacrifice short term for what you can have long term and what you can be long term. The only way I've seen people get great at things is to be obsessed. I watched my cousin go to school to be a dentist. He has to be obsessed with his craft. He's obsessed with studying, never has time, always. He's 8 years into school, always grinding, always. That's obsessed. That's not balance. My man has no balance right now. Can barely come home, can barely go out, can barely do anything. But that's short term right now. Long term, it won't be that way. If you want to be great in business, in my business, for my first few years, I was obsessed with my craft. I had no time for balance or nothing. I would squeeze a half hour in a day, an hour in a day to work out. I would try to rush to get meals, but most of my time was engulfed into getting better at business and grinding to set myself up for the future, and man, has that paid off. Look at somebody that's in sports. Look at somebody that's a master at anything. You will find somebody, whether it's a musician or otherwise, that was obsessed with their craft, that went all the way in, and then they get this life of balance. In order to have what others don't have, you have to do what others don't do. If you do everything average, if you match the world tit for tat with average, you're going to get average. You have to have an investor's mentality. People have this saving mentality and they never want to play offense. So if you just save, you can be good 30 years from now, 40 years from now. But if you want to be great financially, you got to invest. If you want to be great long-term in business, you got to invest all of your time up front, grind it out to have all the time that you want down the road, which creates another imbalance. I've watched that play out to where you grind for a few years, and then you have other imbalance where people are like, how come you're not working at 1 o'clock in the afternoon? How do you get to travel all over the place? How do you always have weekends off, but you always have money? It doesn't seem like you're working that hard. Because for 5 years, we grinded and worked 6 days, 7 days a week. We heard Sabrina talking, if the Lord created the world in 6 days and only took 1 day off, why does everybody think that they need 2 days off? How have we been squandering our time? I want you to think about this. Question that I'm asking you right now. How have you been squandering your time? Where could you get time in things that you're wasting your time on? Is it social media? Is it playing games? Is it watching things that aren't going to produce results? You can find the time by looking at where you're wasting that time. But remember these things. Do what is difficult when it's easy. And when you're going through the life right now, it's a lot easier to grind when you don't have to than to wait down the road when you do have to. I would rather suffer from the pain of discipline than suffer from the pain of regret. Either way, you're going to have to suffer. You could suffer from being average. You could suffer from barely paying your bills, from barely making it. You could suffer from the imbalance in this world because you haven't raised your game to step up and be a 5% or a 1%, or you could suffer right now, short term to grind, have a little bit of imbalance right now for a whole lot of imbalance down the road, and we can enjoy our life and live our very best life. Thanks for joining me this weekend in the locker room. Looking forward to seeing you all next week.